Authorities in the Eastern Cape province have been holding talks with the alcohol industry to discuss ways of dealing with the high transmission rate of COVID-19 in that province. Mvusiwekhaya Sicwetscha speaks for the Eastern Cape Premier's office, and he joins us now on the line. Mr. Sicwetscha, good afternoon to you. Talk to us about whether the Eastern Cape province is effectively dealing with the second wave. In that statement that has just been issued, you are quoted there as alluding to the Eastern Cape effectively being in the throes of a second wave. Is the Eastern Cape province experiencing a second wave right now?
Mr. Mgambi, good afternoon to you and your viewers. Look, looks of data we are, and this is why we have looked at the data and sources of these infections in our province, and we have identified funeral services, church services, and on the main we have identified taverns, shebeens as some of the points where we are getting infections. That is why our liquor board has investigated. They've been to all these communities, did the Motherwell, to look at the compliance by these liquor traders. And 2 compliance notices were issued. One of the new things that we are seeing is that some establishments would close at the right time. But after that time, you see patrons sitting outside with booze, drinking without wearing masks. So this is a new trend that we are seeing. And yesterday, when they went to this community, they called in the police to disperse these people. So that is why we welcome the contribution by the liquor industry to work with government in dealing with this problem.
Yeah. So you confirming, because you have just said that indeed we are dealing with a second wave right now. I can tell you that that is breaking news, because national government, or should I say at the national level, the health ministry, that is, they've been reluctant to say we are in the second wave in the Eastern Cape. They've merely been cautioning. So that is big news indeed when you confirm for us that we are in the second wave as far as the Eastern Cape is concerned. Talk to us about this task team, therefore, that has been formed. Who does it comprise?
It comprises the provincial government, the liquor board, the liquor industry representatives, South African police, and municipalities. Remember, municipalities and the liquor board have a role to play in issuing trading licenses. And when those license holders do not comply with these conditions and the COVID-19 regulations, we have to come in and enforce the law. And part of what we're going to do, if people don't comply, we're going to close those establishments. And that is why we're saying to these owners, these are your businesses. This is your livelihood. You have a responsibility to protect yourself and your customers by making sure that anyone who comes in is limited to the number that you are required to accommodate. Everyone wears a mask. Everyone sanitizes. If you don't, we're going to close those. The numbers that we are looking at, Coley, are going up. Remember, in the first outbreak in the province, we started seeing high numbers in the Nelson Mandela, and we're seeing a similar trend now. That is why we are calling it a second wave, because the same numbers we saw, the same rate we saw earlier, is the same rate we are seeing now. It is now spreading to Sarah Bartman, to Amatole, to Buffalo City also. We are cautious about it. We are calling on the people of the province to take the fight into their own hands, because if they don't wear masks, they are putting their lives at risk, and the lives of their loved ones, their children and their families.
The patrollers, Mr. Sicwetscha, you mentioned in the press statement that you've issued that there are going to be patrollers who are going to be allocated to the 8 police stations, and this is where it is understood there are hotspots. Talk to us about how many patrollers are going to be allocated to each station, and what is the duty? What's the job of those patrollers, and who made those patrollers available, by the way?
The commitment of the liquor industry is to a point that they are putting their own resources. And one of the key things, the key commitments they've made is that they send a message to companies that, to the tavern owners that if they continue to break the law, these companies who are manufacturers of liquor products, they are going to stop supplying those taverns and those shippings, pubs and bars. This is very big because if these guys are committing this way, it means there is no one in that sector who should continue breaking the law. So each of these companies and their formation, they're going to finance that. They're going to avail 10 patrollers per police station. The main purpose of these patrollers is to work with communities, to work with law enforcement, because as residents of these municipalities, we know who opens beyond the trading hours. We know which bottle store opens beyond those. We know what people do when the taverns are supposed to close. So we have a responsibility now to report these to the liquor board and to the police, because if we don't report them, you might have a person who's drinking alcohol there and coming out without wearing a mask, infecting people that were sitting at home or people that were staying in their homes. So it's important that as communities, as residents of the Nelson Mandela Bay, we take the fight into our own hands. We report people that are breaking regulations. Obviously, we are going to treat that information as confidential source of information so that we don't expose our people to hot heads who might want to take revenge and all that. This is a multi-sectoral and a community battle. Let's all take our shields and our weapons and fight this. So our shields are the mask, our weapons are sanitizing our hands, washing with soap, keeping distance, and reporting those that are breaking the laws.
Yeah. Final question, and very briefly, if you can. You might remember the term differential approach when it comes to the provinces. That particular kind of talk was, it was very much the talk of the town, if you like, at the height of COVID-19. I'm thinking here, if the Eastern Cape does not get a handle on this new wave of infections, might you consider asking national government to put you on a different level of the lockdown? We're now at lockdown level 1 countrywide. Might you approach national for a different lockdown level?
Look, everything is on the table. There is nothing that is off the table. But what we can say to the people of our province is that when the virus pandemic started in March, we made a call to our people to play their part. They played that part. We managed to record highest recovery numbers in the province because they complied. And we're saying to them, we have numbers, COVID numbers, still below 10,000, below 11,000. We now need to keep them there, and instead of allowing them to go up, let's lower them by ensuring that we support those infected to recover. We make sure that we don't allow the virus space to spread by adhering to the infection control protocols. But if all that fails, we will have to go to those margins. But it's important that the people of our province know that we can put any measure in place, Tony. If they don't comply, we're not going to win the battle. Because it's them who have to comply. Make sure that they wear the mask. And wearing a mask, it's not about any other person, but about yourself first. Before it is about the second person and the third person and all that. We need to take that to that personal level and commitment.
All right, Mvusiwekhaya Sicwetsha, very honest with us.